Trump arrived in China for a high-stakes state visit, his first trip to the country since returning to the White House, and the first by a US president in nearly a decade. Now Beijing answered with a display of diplomatic grandeur. Red carpet, military bands, marching soldiers, and school children waving Chinese and American flags as cameras rolled. But interestingly, at the same time, as per reports, China's president chose to open talks not with trade or Iran, but with the one issue Beijing called its most important concern in relation with the Washington, which is Taiwan. Well, the result was a summit where symbolism spoke of a so-called friendship, even as Xi's word underlined how fragile that relationship could be. Well, Trump touched down in Beijing to what Chinese and US media described as a lavish welcome crafted to impress a leader known to enjoy spectacle. He was greeted on the tarmac by Chinese vice president and senior officials, walking down a red carpet stairway as a military band played and children waved flags and chanted welcome. And the next day, Xi hosted Trump at the Great Hall of the People with the full state honors, including a 21-gun salute, an honor guard inspection, and carefully choreographed ceremonial music. Now, many experts who understand these ceremonial protocols say that the reception was designed to flatter Trump and signal that Beijing values the relationship, echoes the state visit plus treatment he received in 2017. In fact, Trump appeared to enjoy the moment, praising Xi as a great leader and friend and predicting that the US and China would have a fantastic future together. The visual message was very clear. Two powerful leaders putting on a show of warmth at the time when their countries are locked in disputes over trade, technology, Middle East, and most importantly, security in Asia. Now comes the most interesting part. Well, once the doors closed and the talks began, the tone shifted completely. According to Chinese state media, Xi immediately raised Taiwan, calling it the most important issue in China-US relations. In fact, he warned that if the Taiwan question is mishandled, the two countries could collide or even come into conflict, pushing the relationship into a highly perilous or very dangerous situation. Now, Xi's message came after months of rising tensions over US arms sales to Taipei and closer political contact between Washington and the self-ruled island, which Beijing claims as its own territory. Now, Chinese officials had already signaled before this very visit that Taiwan was the biggest risk point in the ties with the United States, setting the stage for a firm warning in person. Now, people briefed on the talk said Xi framed the issue not only as a matter of sovereignty, but as a test of whether Washington accepts China's core interests. He reportedly also argued Trump to handle Taiwan prudently and avoid steps that Beijing would see as crossing red line, such as new weapons package or higher level political engagement with Taipei. Now, the contrast between the glittering welcome and the grim warning highlighted China's diplomatic style. Use grandeur to set a friendly mood, but make sure that the core message lands very clearly. In fact, analysts say Beijing believes Trump can be influenced by pageantries, yet Xi did not allow ceremony to blur his bottom line on Taiwan. By putting Taiwan on the center, Xi signaled that even as both sides talk about trade and cooperation, the island remains the most likely trigger for a crisis between the world's two largest superpowers. His warning that mishandling the issue could push US-China ties into a dangerous point underscores how quickly a miscalculation over arms deal, political visits, or even military moves in the Taiwan Strait could spill into open confrontation. Well, for Trump, the summit mixed flattery with hard reality. He got the grand welcome that Chinese leader knew he would appreciate, but he also heard in the blunt terms how Beijing views Taiwan as a non-negotiable core interest. Now, even as the visit continues, the image from Beijing may project warmth, yet Xi's word ensure that the stakes over Taiwan and the risk of US-China relations remain almost impossible to ignore.